We can speak now to Greg Scarlatoiu, who's Executive Director of the Committee for Human Rights in North Korea. Mr. Scarlatoiu, welcome to the programme. What do you make of this meeting that's going on in Vancouver? Any hope for progress there, do you think?
Nick, my pleasure. The point of this meeting is to ramp up pressure on North Korea to find ways to better implement the sanctions regime grounded in UN security sanctions resolutions aimed to stop the development and proliferation of North Korean nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles. This is a meeting of sending nations that answered the call of the United Nations on June the 27th, 1950, a call to repel the North Korean surprise attack and invasion of June the 25th, 1950, a United Nations call to restore the territorial integrity and the sovereignty of the Republic of Korea, South Korea. This is a gathering of nations that paid a heavy price in blood, lives, treasure.
OK, Mr. Scarlatoiu, if I could just jump in there, because you talk about this meeting is about ramping up pressure on North Korea, but what hope is there of ramping up pressure if two of the members of the UN Security Council, two permanent members, are not actually present, and that is Russia and China?
Well, certainly Russia and China were on the other side of the Korean War. Now, you're absolutely right. Indeed, North Korea shares a long border with China. North Korea shares 17 kilometers of border with Russia. In order to ensure the effective implementation of the sanctions regime, certainly China must be on board. China has showed signs that it is more serious about implementing UN Security Council sanctions. We have to keep in mind that UN Security Council sanctions are a very serious matter pursuant to Chapter 7 action to answer threats to international peace and security. If sanctions do not work, there is a frightening question to ask: what comes next?
Right, and meanwhile we have these talks between the North and the South, direct talks. What hope lies there, do you think?
South Korea has a short-term objective here. That objective is to ensure a successful Winter Olympics in Pyongyang. There are just two potential spoilers here, one being very harsh weather, very cold weather, the other being Kim Jong-un and this regime. So by engaging in these talks with the North Koreans, the South Koreans are trying to ensure some peace and quiet during the Games. In their turn, the North Koreans have a clear short-term objective, which is to extract maximum benefits. They've agreed to send two athletes, two ice skaters to South Korea. They're sending a humongous delegation, cheerleaders, minders, a 140-member Philharmonic Orchestra to South Korea. Now, presumably, South Korea will have to pick up the tab.
All right, Greg, we'll leave it there. Greg Scarlatoiu, Executive Director of the Committee for Human Rights in North Korea. Thanks very much indeed.